Hi, I'm Arindam. Today I'm going to talk about Apple and their marketing campaign called Think Different. It is one of those marketing campaigns that inspired the whole world to think differently. If we go back to 1996 to 1907 era time, we'll see that how Apple was near to bankrupt. How close was Apple to failure? If we see these two articles, it will suggest that how close was Apple to bankrupt? Like it had 4,000 layoffs and it was in $1 billion losses and almost 90 days to go to bankrupt. It was not an easy situation for any company to bounce back. And there is a famously quote from Michael Dell, which suggested that Apple should shut down their company and give its money back to its shareholder. But real crisis wasn't on the balance sheet. It was in the consumer's mind, how they are perceiving the brand. Then a campaign called Think Different came out. It was not like any other thing different, any other campaign. It was more focused on creativity and individuality rather than just a normal marketing campaign. Okay, let's have a look at this marketing campaign and we'll try to understand that how it was different than other marketing campaign.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
What was so different about this campaign? What made this campaign so unique? It celebrated individuality and creativity by showing people like Muhammad Ali, Albert Einstein. They are trying to say that it's more about values, not just products. It made people feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. Very few company could do that, and it was a very bold move because nobody knew how market gonna respond. Another thing that one of the best thing about this campaign was it's creative and innovative. It encouraged innovations and originality, and it was more focused on ideas, not just products. It didn't say like any other marketing campaign, buy this product or buy this stuff. No, they said we exist for the people like who think differently, who see the world differently, and it attracted creative individuals. It didn't say any single thing about its product. It said that Apple respect those people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world because they are the ones who change the world. Now let's look at the revenue around after 1997. It didn't show its impact instantly, but if we go to around 2004 to 2007, we can see that the revenue increased gradually. Now I'll show my Excel graph how I cleaned and extract data from using the data I have collected from the websites. It is the Apple's revenue data, and it is the Apple's annual stock return data, and it is the Apple's market capital billion data. Now we'll look how these things change its market conditions, and I will try to extract some information out of this. For example, before 1997, Apple's was in it's not in very good conditions. It had very negative return. But after 1997, it had positive return. Around 205% Apple's return was increased. And it was, though it was not stable, but it showed that investor gained some confidence on Apple. And another thing about Apple that its market value grown nearly around 10x after 1997. In 1995, Apple's market value was around 2 billion. In 1997, 6 it was around 3 billion, but it dropped before 1997 because investors were losing their confidence on Apple. They're trying to sell their stocks. They're in panic mode. So something bold they needed. It couldn't be a product because company's market game is more about psychology rather than balance sheet. So think different campaign does what it was supposed to do. Its market value grew to around 6 billion, and in the span of just 1 year it grew to 17 billion. So if you look at 1907 to 1999, the the increase was at around 10x. So though the revenue wasn't grew instantly, it was very slow, but the market value grew. So it showed that how this campaign tried to was very successful to place Apple as a very strong place for its shareholders, and and it will be determined in the future to s- uh, deliver something useful products. And also its returns shift from negative to strong positive shows that how this campaign was very successful. The impact of Think Different is enormous. It repositioned Apple as Apple's brand identity and increased consumer and investor confidence. And it led to long-term revenue and market value growth. Because as you can see, to back my third point, I would like to show again my revenue data. It didn't show its revenue instantly, rather than it was more focused on its futuristic value. And it positioned Apple as a symbol of creativity and innovation. Cause of around 2004, 2006, Apple's delivered some of the greatest product in the history of technology, like iPhone, MacBook, iPod. And I truly believe that this Think Different campaign was one of the core reason that inspired their employee to think differently. Because Apple didn't just sell products, it sold a vision. Because people like Steve Jobs, Muhammad Ali, Mahatma Gandhi, they are the not a very normal person. Their thinking process inspired the whole world. So obviously Apple's trying to appear place it as a uh, brand who believes strong identity, and it was very much determined to its long term growth. and its stock return from negative to strong positive after 1997 was showing that investor was gaining confidence on them. And even still, it is considered as one of the greatest marketing campaign in the history. It not just a product. Apple didn't just sell products, it sold a vision to its customer. It's it was a it is a campaign that has inspired millions of people to think differently. That was my presentation. Thank you so much.